be really good in PvP in this game, I feel like it's all about positioning and things like that. We're using your environment, knowing when to like retreat and whatnot.
That's the thing I'm sure, Dev, your environment is your best and worst. Well, it's
Right.
your best weapon and your worst ally.
Right, exactly.
It'll either let you kill people quite easily, or it'll get you killed.
Right.
This is the one thing that Unsure Down is very much got going for us.
What?
He's got shields in PvP. Every other person in this game is running a shield.
Serious trauma.
It's like, for God's sakes, get a new build, will ya?
An agent needs assistance. It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up. Rogue fixer drone detected. System disrupted. System restored.
What's going on, YouTube family? Be Righteous here. I have another build for you that I believe you'll really appreciate. With the current state of the meta, this build is something you most definitely need in your arsenal. So if you're new here and enjoy builds from DPS all the way to skill, please drop a like and don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. You won't regret it. Now you know me, and you know that when there's a build that's like a virus and spreads throughout the community, I gotta come with the vaccine. Well, I have it for you right here. And if you want to take it, it'll make you better. Think about that for a minute. Surgical is just what you have to be with this build because it's not an easy playstyle to master. But I'm going to explain to you why this is a meta killer and step by step how to use it effectively. And we're starting right now. Hey, what's up everybody? I wanted to get right into this because I didn't want to waste any time. Now this current meta, the Adrenaline Intimidate meta, is pretty strong. And people run up in your face with all the arrogance in the world. And I just love interrupting that and stopping that energy. And this build does it. Also with this current meta, it pigeonholes you into a certain playstyle. When it comes to DPS, there's not many choices that you can make when it comes to talents, because when they changed it to backpack and chest piece, the only way to go pretty much is either Intimidate or Unbreakable. Or for the backpack, Vigilance and Adrenaline Rush, and maybe Wicked. So what I'm going to show you here is how to counter the meta with the playstyle and the weapon. And here I'm going to show you how to make a standard crit build, the only crit build you need based on the pieces and the playstyle, how to counter it. So here we go. The specialization I'm using is Firewall, and where you're using Firewall and they break your armor, they catch on fire, it's just a perfect tactic to use, especially against strong builds, because it stops them from ADSing. It gives you opportunity to put their fight in your favor, and I've done it so many times. The primary I'm using is the Eagle Bearer. Now I don't use this weapon that much because honestly you can use whatever you like. Sometimes I use the Ravenous, which I was using in a couple clips that you saw, but I think the Eagle Bearer is really good for crit builds when you're a little bit tanky and it's critted out. Man, the Eagle Bearer is so strong, and I'm sure a lot of you have this. So yeah, the Eagle Bearer is what I use as my primary. For my secondary, I'm using this custom M870. Now, okay, in my previous builds, I always made a shotgun build with the Sweet Dreams. It's a really good shotgun. I love it. I mean, just the exotic talent that you use when you can melee non-elite enemies, and if you crit it out to make it even stronger when you shoot it, it's a great shotgun. But the problem is it has no critical hit chance or damage attachments. It has like optimal range and reload speed, which is fine, but when you're going against strong builds with bonus armor and really tanky, you need as much crit as you can get. And that's why I use the custom MA70. These can be crafted if you have the blueprint, and I definitely need a better one. Look at these stats. They're just subpar. You might be thinking, oh, this thing only has 5 shotgun shells. That's it. But that's going to work in your favor. Reason why is because I'm using Optimus. So the less amount of ammo you have, the better. And so these 5 shells works in my favor. If I 2-tap somebody, I got 3 shotgun shells that are even stronger. So when things get sweaty and competitive, it's okay to have 1 or 2 rounds. But the important thing is that you hit your target. That's the only thing with this. It's not like the Super 90 where you could just fire away. But Optimus is the way you want to go with any weapon that either shoots really fast, like the FAMAS, or a shotgun with a small amount of ammo. Now, if you want to, you can use an orbit, which I did get actually after that last video I made. With perfect finisher, when you kill an enemy with the pistol, it gives you 40% crit damage and 35% crit chance. You got to swap back to your main weapon within 10 seconds in order to retain this buff. And I believe this is DZ exclusive. So just farm the DZ when you see pistols available. Alright, onto the build. Now, you can use another mask other than the coyotes to increase your overall base critical hit damage. And I'm going to show you the crit damage I have once I get to that. But I like helping out my team and this mask in general. It gives you an extra 35% critical hit damage when you're within 25 meters of the enemy. Not really worried about the crit chance that much, but as soon as you hit somebody, these buffs stay forever. They don't go away. It's a great exotic mask. The chest piece, I'm using the 0F's Perfectly Unbreakable. Look how trash this armor is, man. This is half of what it should be, but you take what you can get, you know what I'm saying? And I just had to roll crit everywhere. I would like it to be a little more tanky, but that's fine. With Perfectly Unbreakable, you have 2 lives. So this armor that you see is almost doubled for somebody who doesn't have it, especially against these meta builds that don't have Unbreakable. They have Intimidate, right? Now, Intimidate does give them bonus armor. But let me tell you something. When using an MA70 or a shotgun that's critted out, it don't matter what bonus armor they got. It shreds through that like it's nothing. So you won't have to worry about the bonus armor. The only thing you'd have to worry about is when they pull that Crusader shield out, which is also meta. I swear, man, I can't go into a conflict without seeing that shield. And I refuse to use it, not because I don't really like it. It's because when everybody starts using something, that's when I start veering away from it. And honestly, I'm not even really good with that shield, so I don't use it. But I am going to tell you how to easily dismantle people who use it, like you've seen in the gameplay. I'll get to that a little later on. The holster I'm using is the 𝐈 for the 10% crit chance. Now, like I said, this is a blueprint on how to dismantle the meta. It's also a blueprint on how to make the standard crit build, because crit builds do the most damage on DPS builds. Even if you want to be more tanky, like usually you want to go 3 blues and 3 reds, but if you want to do 4 blues or 5 blues, you can do that. As long as you got the crit with it, then you'll still be doing crazy damage while having like 1.6, 1.7 million armor. And that's especially good with a shotgun, because I remember I ran into somebody in conflict who was like, had almost 2 million armor. But because he had a shotgun that was critted out, I was getting put down. I was like, man, that's crazy. You do more damage with a shotgun that's critted out than you do with like a AR or SMG. Shotguns just do so much burst damage. It's a counter for many builds. The backpack I'm using, this beautiful y'all backpack, man. This is a great backpack. And only reason why I'm not using a 2-piece for the 5% weapon damage is because, I mean, I'd rather use Perfectly Unbreakable that has the Badger Tough, which gives me 15% shotgun damage. I think that's better than 5% weapon damage. What y'all think? This came like this with these stats, and I just rolled Vigilance. And if I wanted to switch this out for some other talent, then I could. That's why I like this backpack so much. And there are only 2 brand sets that come as an armor core, but give you an offensive mod slot. Come TU11, we won't have to worry about any of that, because they're switching the mod slots so that you can put any mod in any slot, which is great, because there are some builds I wanted to make that I just can't, because they come by default with like a utility or defensive mod slot. So with Vigilance, if somebody doesn't see you, or if you're not getting hit for 4 seconds and you hit them with a shotgun with Vigilance, it's a wrap. I mean, say goodnight pretty much. I know y'all saw the gameplay. I was like 1v3ing people, man. This build is real. And I haven't explained to you the complete formula yet, so we getting there. Just hold on. The gloves, you want the Grupo Sombra. They come with 15% crit damage. You want to increase your crit damage as much as possible. Even if you got to sacrifice a little bit crit chance. You know, if you have 45% crit chance, 50% crit chance, that's cool. Just make sure you try and get as much crit damage as possible. Over 200 if you can. That's when you see them real numbers hit. Fox's Prayer knee pads. These knee pads are one of the reasons why I was using the Ravenous, because the Ravenous is a rifle and it gives you rifle damage. So you're better off using that instead of the Eagle Bearer or another rifle like the Diamondback or something like that, so you can capitalize on all the damage, right? I just wanted to show you that you can use this with the Eagle Bearer because not a lot of people have the Ravenous, and I didn't want to show this build with the Ravenous because you wouldn't be able to use it. So my suggestion is to use the Eagle Bearer, right? You'll still do a lot of damage because the Eagle Bearer is just strong in general. And the reason why you want to use this is because this has damage to targets out of cover, 8%. And the MA70 also has damage to targets out of cover. Man, I wish I had 10% here. I'm gonna get another one, you'll see. Okay, so now let's talk about the skills, right? And this is the other part of how to dismantle those builds, okay? So I made a build a while back. It was called Warrior, right? And I made quite a few builds with all 3 sticky bomb variants. And I really thought that video would make sticky bombs meta, because some people still don't know how to shoot this sticky bomb in a way that's going to work in your favor. Many of you think that you have to sit there and ADS with the sticky bomb while getting shot. That is not the case. If you keybind this on mouse and keyboard or R1 or L1, however it's set up on your controller, all you have to do is double tap that button. Once you double tap that button really quickly, it's going to automatically shoot the sticky bomb wherever your character is facing. And if you want to, so you can be accurate with it, just aim down sights with your weapon. While you're aiming down sights, double tap that button and it's going to shoot exactly where your crosshairs are at. So I'm saying that to say this is a way that you can counter the Crusader shields that the people who are using the Lady Death use when they run up on you, right? You shoot this on the ground next to them. Once you detonate it, they drop the shield and get staggered and get disrupted. Do you know how much of an advantage that gives you? Once you do that, you 2-tap them or 1-tap them and it's over with, period. You don't have to do it right away. You can do it in the middle of combat. You can wait till you kill the first person, then hit the next person come up to you, because best believe they're gonna have one too. But the point is that sometimes the jammer pulse does not work. I literally would jam people's shield, and if they don't have 100% disrupt resistance, their shield still stays up for some reason. But this EMP sticky bomb has never failed me. Just play with this build, get used to it, and you'll get better and better at it. It works like a charm. I mean, in this state where very few builds are viable in PvP, like honestly, I made my Bloodlust build. It works. You know, when I pull that pistol out, put him down in like 1 or 2 shots. But as far as like going against the meta, it's just builds that you have to really work hard to use against them. I did make a sniper build called Guillotine, and I put out like a montage, which was amazing. Like, I'm so hype about that montage. You should check it out, by the way. Anyway, that is another counter to this, because when they're holding those Crusader shields, all you see is like a little bobblehead popping up. Like, what? You think I'm not going to shoot that? You think I'm not going to pop your kufi? Anyways, that build is a little bit of a higher skill gap, so I decided to bring this so that it'll be easier for most of the player base to be able to take it down. So that's what I use for my first skill. And for the second skill, I'm just using the decoy because I just like it, honestly. You guys can use the Crusader shield if you want. You know, you can use that shield, but I prefer not to use it. That's just my preference. So when it comes to skills, the only thing that's mandatory is the sticky bomb, the EMP sticky bomb. You can use whatever other skill you like. And this is just my preference. So that's all I have to say about this build. You want to set up the standard crit build, but the blueprint on how to dismantle the meta is the main point here. And if you know of another way that you use to counter the meta, let me know down in the comments. Tell me your method. I'd like to know, and I want it to be shared so people can see other ways to play that are beneficial for everybody. So if you enjoyed this video and if this build helped you out in any way, then please drop a like and don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you here. Until I see you in my next video, be right out.